Aικατερίνη Σταθοπούλου is our next speaker. One good thing about reflexology is its holistic potential, and Aικατερίνη makes this potential in reality. With over 20 years of experience, she has specialized in reflexology, lymphatic drainage, Swedish massage, acupuncture, mindfulness, herbal therapy, NLP, Reiki, and wellness coaching. Currently, she is studying reconstructive psychotherapy. Working with love and dedication, Aικατερίνi's holistic approach focuses on supporting both physical body and soul. Aικατερίνη developed the multifocal cranial reflexology method, which is going to be the subject of her presentation. Thank you.
Hello. Dear friends and colleagues, before studying here as a reflexologist, I first stood on the other side as a patient. For many years, I suffered from psychosomatic conditions, mainly an irritable bowel and constant stomach issues. My entire digestive system was in turmoil. I simply could not control the anxiety, the endless racing thoughts, and the anger swallowed instead of expressed. At the age of 30, many years ago, reflexologists took my pain away. That moment was life-changing. When the pain subsided, I was finally free to look deeper into myself, beyond the symptoms. From that point on, it was no longer a choice, but a calling. Reflexology became my path, my compass, and eventually my life's work. So now allow me to introduce myself, sorry about my English. My name, as you know, is Aικατερίνη Σταθοπούλου. I'm a clinical reflexologist certified by the international organization ICR. I'm a certified practitioner in the YNCA Yamamoto method by the international organization PNIMA, and owner of a Lopi Living, a reflexology and wellness center. I'm also completing my studies, as you've heard before, from Raquel in mental health counseling at KFC. And I stand before you today with immense gratitude and excitement to be part of this International Reflexology Congress among esteemed professionals and brilliant human beings is a great honor. I know that each of you brings tremendous knowledge, compassion, and experience to this gathering. As for me, I'm here to share not just a technique, not a protocol, but my journey. A journey that birthed a new complementary therapeutic protocol called multifocal cranial reflexology, or MCR. But let us pause for a moment and ask, what is anxiety? Anxiety is not simply a fleeting feeling of worry. It is a state of inner unrest, a storm in the nervous system. It can take over the breath, like my breath now, tighten the chest, cloud the mind, and burden the body. It is both emotional and physical, often invisible but profoundly felt. Now, let's go deeper into understanding anxiety and psychosomatic symptoms. In chronic form, anxiety becomes more than an emotion. It becomes a condition. It shapes how we sleep, digest, move, and connect with others. It amplifies pain, lowers immunity, and contributes to the development of psychosomatic illness. And for many people living with autoimmune or stress-related disorders, anxiety is not just a cause, it is a constant companion. Psychosomatic does not mean imaginary. It means the psyche and the soma, mind and body, are speaking to one another. Muscle pain, headaches, irritable bowel, fatigue, skin eruptions, even autoimmune flares. These can all be the language of a nervous system trying to adapt, protect, and be heard. As you know, many disciplines explore this connection. The most well-known psychiatry investigates on the biological basis of anxiety, and most of the time it treats it with medication and or when needed.
Reflexologia Cranial.
Psychology and psychotherapy address through patterns trauma and emotional regulation. Neuroscience studies the brain-body interaction and the role of the autonomic nervous system. From the other side, somatic therapy that all of us know listens to the body's stored trauma and promotes release through movement and awareness. Traditional Chinese medicine, for those who study this, sees emotions as energy bound to organ systems and seek balance through acupuncture, herbs, and energy flow. Holistic and complementary practices, like our science, reflexology, view symptoms not as problems to be silenced, but as messages to be understood. In that point, I want to refer some great minds that they have explored the tension between body and soul. Hippocrates said, «Η φύσις, η ιδρός εστί των νοσημάτων. Η φύσις αυτή, επί το ομοίων επιδημεί, και η φύσις η μετέρα, επί το ομοίων ιατρεύει», which means the natural healing force within each of us is the greatest force in getting well. Also, Carl Jung wrote, until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life, and you will call it fate. And the well-known Gabor Maté speaks of how childhood trauma and suppressed emotion can manifest as disease, saying, illness is not a cruel twist of fate, but a manifestation of life's struggles. And a favorite one of mine, Kostas Axelos, from his book The Play of the Word, he says, man is not a static being, but a becoming, a movement between being and the word. For those who doesn't know, Kostas Axelos was a Greek French philosopher known for exploring the relationship between the self, the word, and the ever-changing nature of human existence. So, we all know that sometimes the personal healing journey starts with a touch, begins with a touch. Let me share with you how a simple touch evolved into the ICR protocol. Let me take you back to a pivotal moment. One day, a woman knocked on the door of my office of a lobby. Her name was Konstantina Kuneva. She came seeking reflexology and facial sessions. Due to her condition, many have declined, unfortunately, to help her. Konstantina is a former member of the European Parliament and a survivor of a vicious acid attack in 2008, target for her trade union activism. She had suffered severe facial burns, loss of vision in one eye, damage to the esophagus, which affected her ability to swallow and speak. Of course, she's been through multiple reconstructive surgeries. All I could do, I was just a reflexologist, was to offer my hands and my presence with humility and love. I applied first a scar massage technique to her face, known as massage de la cicatrice, and combined it with foot reflexology. Our collaboration flourished and continues to this day, and I'm happy for this. So this woman was grateful, and years later, Konstantina introduced me to another brave soul, Ioanna Paliospiru. Ioanna too was a victim of an acid attack in 2020 and quickly became a symbol of dignity, resilience, and inner strength. She also suffered from extensive burns to her face, as you see, and body, loss of an ear, and facial deformation, severe damage to the skin, muscles, and eyes, lot of depression and stress. Of course, she had to do for years, and she's still doing all the reconstructive surgeries. Ioanna began visiting me twice a week, 4 hours in total, for 3 uninterrupted years. I worked extensively on the right side of her face, as you see there, around the eye, the missing ear, and especially on the sternocleidomastoid muscle, where the damage was most concentrated. During our sessions, I noticed something remarkable. As soon as I touched the area around the ear, within minutes, Ioanna would begin to deeply relax and sometimes falling asleep. It was as if the loving, caring touch on her wooden area triggered a profound response. During this time, I was also completing my training in the Yamamoto new scalp acupuncture, very well known somatotopic acupuncture on the cranial. So in this method, when we activate the 12 cranial nerves, we're not only interacting with muscle or tissue, we are speaking to the body's stress response directly. We're also helping the autonomic nervous system move from sympathetic overdrive, fight or flight, into parasympathetic ease. The breath deepens, the jaw softens, the eyes close. The nervous system begins to rest, and the body remembers its way back to homeostasis. YNCA was one of the elements that contributed to the creation of MCR. During the period of my study and the treatment sessions with Ioanna, I worked with clients experiencing facial nerve paralysis from surgeries or accidents, and with individuals suffering from trigeminal neuralgia caused by teeth breathing during sleep. In all these cases, I focused on similar regions: the ear, temporal area, frontal zone, masseter, mastoid, and various cranial points. Without exception, when I applied combined reflexology pressure and a little massage there, driven by instinct and the intention to relieve them from tension, people relaxed completely. They reported better sleep, less pain, improved mood. The results exceeded expectations. More and more clients came, some drawn by Ioanna's story in the media, others referred by healthcare professionals, such as a dentist who recommended me for trigeminal neuralgia linked to bruxism, because physiotherapists, most of the times in Greece, they do not want to do the massage and the hard work with the fingers. They do mostly, not all of them, but most of them, they do with the machines and the light. So, here is one notable case, and he's one of the reasons I start to do the research, Mr. Thanos Kastritis. He came after eye surgery, which have left him with tension around the eyelids, terrible headaches, numbness in the trigeminal nerve, and symptoms of restless leg syndrome, poor sleep, and low mood. So, just like that, from instinct, one day I decided to stimulate all 12 cranial nerves using Yamamoto technique, and at the same time I applied pressure to key points, as I said before, masseter, ear, temporal area, and mastoid. After the session, Thanos emailed me this testimonial. The one that you see? Okay, just gonna read it quickly.
That's a great testimonial.
Really?
That's well put and just gave you lots of credit.
Thank you. He says, I've been doing acupuncture and facial reflexology for over 2 years, but this combined technique, what you did, was something else. From the first session, I felt a deep calm take over. It changed me. I stopped reacting with anger. That was this testimonial, at this point of this testimonial, that he stopped reacting with anger, made me start considering that maybe the technique goes deeper to the feelings, not only as a relaxation technique. I found peace when I used to feel stress. Okay, he says it's like magic. I want it to be part of my life, thank you. And the next moving example comes from a favorite one, Mrs. Katerina Daliani. She shares her story with me. Okay, that was a difficult situation to handle, and I had no idea if I could help her. My name is Katerina Daliani. I'm 60 years old. In September 2024, I was diagnosed with myasthenia gravis. The particular lady, I will stop here and say, this specific lady, after her menopause and after COVID vaccines, she started having a lot of problems with her circulating system, with bloating, with her emotions, and she was coming and visiting me consistently. And after like 5 years, like last year, she got diagnosed with this autoimmune disease. So it was a huge shock for me, because she says now, because while driving my car, I suddenly experienced a drooping eyelid on my left eye and double vision in both eyes. Imagine the shock, the trauma. During the first period, I felt stress and heavy pressure in my head. Heavy pressure, it was from the myasthenia gravis, but stress was caused from how to handle this new situation in a body that already had so many things to handle. At that difficult moment, my dear friend and therapist, Aικατερίνη Σταθοπούλου, me, invited me to participate in her research program. The sessions helped me tremendously at that time. They relaxed me deeply, and each time I left feeling renewed. I was very fortunate because this coincided with the beginning of my medical treatment, and the therapist worked in a complementary and beneficial way to improve my condition. Since then, we have repeated the therapies 2 or 3 times. The sessions have had a remarkable effect, greatly reducing the symptoms of my illness. I want to express, my heartfelt gratitude to Katerina and her dedicated care team. So as you see here from experience, we have a situation that she decided herself to work with complementary and, the normal medicine. So it is inspiring, I think, that a person in Greece actually decided to give a chance in something so serious. That's why I'm giving emphasis. Okay, so after Katerina, I began to research deeper. I mapped the reflexology points, the acupuncture meridians, the muscular anatomy and cranial nerve origins. I was searching their overlapping zones, especially around the ear, the forehead, mastoid, and the occipital regions. I compared reflex maps, acupuncture charts, and anatomical structures, including, of course, the vagus nerve, lymph nodes, and even emotional processing centers of the brain. And everything aligned, as you know, most of you. So, for example, some of the reflexology points around the ear was 14, 16, and 60, all over for glabella and neck, 34, 65, beginning of eyebrows, the end of eyebrow, the 18 for diaphragm, and then about the acupuncture points. Sorry Houston, we have a problem at the moment. So about the acupuncture points at the same regions, I found triple warmer 21, 23 for stress, 20 for pain, the bladder 1, let's say, for fear and adrenal fatigue, or the gallbladder 2 for emotions and action, the stomach 5. So sorry if this is, I don't know, boring.
No,
That's okay.
no.
Okay, okay. You can ask me, you can stop me if you want. Okay.
It's good.
Thank you. So, the stomach 11 for emotional stability, apart from the digestion. You want to ask? Oh, no. And cortisol regulations. And as for the muscles, frontalis, temporalis, masseter, nasalis, orbicularis, oculi, cranial aponeurosis, all of it, and sternocleistomastoid. But in that area, we also find the nervous system. As I said, the vagus nerve, cranial nerves in brainstem, auditory temporal frontal lobes that regulate emotions. And last but not least, the lymphatic system. All the jugular chain nodes, the supraclavicular, facial, occipital. So now, I had to answer in a very radical question, what is the connection between reflexology, stress, and psychosomatic symptoms? And why is it important to combine techniques and study these particular points of the head? For the people that they have studied only the reflexology science, briefly share with you, I will briefly share with you what I studied regarding the connection between its technique I mapped and its relationship to anxiety and its management. For reflexology, as we all know, gently stimulates specific zones that correspond to these organ systems and meridians. Through target touch, we help the body regulate itself, release blockages, and restore harmony. It is not uncommon for a deeply stressed client to begin breathing more freely, to tear up, or to feel a deep sense of relief during a session. The body's fascia, the muscular system, and the nervous system all respond to touch that carries intention, safety, and care. In traditional Chinese medicine, emotional states are deeply intertwined with physical health. Fear is linked with the kidneys, anger with the liver, sadness with the lungs, and overthinking with the spleen, and of course joy with the heart. These connections are not symbolic, but energetic and physiological. When emotions are repressed or chronic, the corresponding organ systems and meridians show signs of imbalance. These imbalances manifest as what we call psychosomatic symptoms, like, as we referred before, fatigue, sleep disturbances, headaches, palpitations, or muscle tension. And from that, I go to the muscular system. The muscular system is not merely mechanical. Muscles hold emotional memory. Chronic tension in the neck, jaw, shoulders, or back often tells the silent story of an unexpressed, stressed, unresolved grief or trauma. Reflexology invites the nervous system out of this defensive state and into the parasympathetic mode, the mode of rest, digestion, and healing. Central to this is the vagus nerve, the longest cranial nerve, which travels from the brainstem down to the abdomen. The vagus nerve is the royal road to our entire body. It influences the heart, lungs, digestive tract, and is the key to regulating emotional state. When activating the vagus nerve, promotes calm, shows the heart rate, enhances digestion, and brings the body into a state of balance. Reflexology, especially when applied to cranial zones, the mastoid area or near the ears, can gently stimulate vagal tone and help shift the system from fight or flight to rest and restore. But also the lymphatic system plays a silent yet powerful role in how we process stress. Chronic stress suppresses immune response and lymphatic circulation, make the body more vulnerable to illness and inflammation. Reflexology techniques, especially around the clavicle, face and neck, regions rich in lymph nodes, help to stimulate the system, support the detoxification, and enhance resilience. And as we came up to here, there is a question. Why does all this matter? Because the symptoms we often try to treat in isolation, insomnia, fatigue, pain, anxiety, my friends, are not isolated at all, and I'm sure you all know that. They are messages from a body that wants to be heard. Reflexology provides a safe, non-invasive way to listen, to connect, to offer the body space to do what it knows best, restore itself. So here we have some scientific references. Continue to support these ideas. I'm only going to say two. I'm sure there are many others. 2011 study in the Journal of Alternative and Complementary Medicine found that foot reflexology significantly reduced anxiety and pain in patients undergoing surgery. And of course, the research on vagal tone shows how stimulating the vagus nerve improves emotional regulation and resilience. TCM continues to inform psychosomatic approaches in integrative health, where the emotional and energetic aspects of organ systems are respected and treated accordingly. So, in multifocal cranial reflexology, these principles I found out just from experience that I will show you later. They come all together. We touch the muscle, we touch the nerve, the meridian, and most important, the story of the person, the trauma, the emotion held in tissue. And in doing so, we honor the fullness of what it means to be human. In the process, in order to go deeper and obtain more tangible and measurable results, I launched a one-year study involving 14 volunteers from 5 distinct groups, including caregivers from the Good Samaritan structure, clients with psychosomatic disorders of clinical psychologist Vasilis Albanis, parents from the elementary school of Petralona, of course clients of my clinic of Fallopi, and a group of psychotherapists. The name is Apokino, which means together. The name of the group of the psychotherapists. So, each volunteer completed the Hamilton Depression Rating Scale before and after cycles of 4 sessions every month, almost for 1 year. All of them received the protocol, the ICR protocol, reflexology. Sessions included either reflexology alone or combined with acupuncture on the 12 cranial nerves. And here I will stop and I want to say that it is the same if you acupressure and not acupuncture the points. Pressure intensity varied according to individual needs. What applied, the pressure that applied. All sessions were personalized depending on the primary complaint. The outcomes were remarkable. And here you see, just please, thank you. And here you see how was the form of the Hamilton scale. On the left side is the Hamilton scale. It's something that you can find on the internet. They use it as psychiatrists and psychologists. It's not something something very, it's free. And this is an Excel that I use to measure the results. And now we'll tell you what this scale evaluates. The depressed mood, the guilt, the suicidal thoughts, the early, mid, and late insomnia, the work activity engagement, the psychomotor retardation or agitation, the psychological and physical anxiety, the gastrointestinal somatic symptoms, libido and weight loss. These are the, let's say, the basic points that make sense when you want to see if a person is going beyond stress and you need to suggest him to go to a psychologist or a psychiatrist. But still showed me a lot of things about the results for my MCR method. So the results were impressive. Many reported reduced anxiety, improved mood, and better sleep, even among autoimmune cases like rheumatoid arthritis, psoriasis, and the woman with the myasthenia gravis. So, all of them, without exceptions, clients and volunteers, they state to these phrases: deep relaxation, better sleep, pain reduction, elevated mood, and let's see specifically. Before the sessions, we see here 84 of participants showed severe to very severe anxiety. You see severe and very severe. Some of them were moderated, mild, and only the 5.3% was no anxiety. After MCR, 85% reported mild or no anxiety, which is, if you see and you match the no anxiety with the mild and the moderate, you see it's a huge difference. Additional improvements were observed in sleep, digestion, and mental clarity. The good thing is that there weren't reported side effects. It is safe. So, The method appeared to focus on multiple points and produced multifocal results. That's why I decided to name it Multifocal Cranial Reflexology, or MCR, and I registered it legally. The channel ends now, and here we come to our conference, was how to bring it into everyday life. Then came the hardest part, introducing MCR to my everyday clientele. In Greece, unlike other countries, holistic therapists often face skepticism. Many people see complementary therapies and methods as unscientific or luxurious. The average Greek cannot afford services not covered by insurance. But myself, I believed in these methods' value and I persisted. Below, I'll share a few ideas on how myself integrate MCR into people's daily lives and why these efforts have been successful. First of all, I decided to offer a free first session to my existing clientele as a gift. And that worked. In my case. Why? Because I think generosity builds trust. When people are given the opportunity to experience something new without financial risk, they are more open to receive its benefits, as I said before from my experience. And once they feel the change in their bodies, they no longer need convincing. Another thing I've done, I spoke with the coordinators of the groups who had sent me volunteers and I offered a 20% discount to all their members so they could continue. It worked as well, and that was because partnerships, I believe, they create bridges. Reflexology spreads faster when it is woven into existing communities. By aligning with groups that already share a bond, I was able to bring reflexology into circles of trust, where word of mouth multiplies naturally. I organized a low-cost workshop, and I hope these are good ideas also for you, where I presented self-healing points based on the MCR method, and that worked as well. Because knowledge empowers people. That's why we are here. When individuals learn even a few simple techniques to support themselves, they begin to value reflexology, not just as a therapy, but as a lifestyle tool they can integrate into their everyday lives. Another thing I did, I spoke with my endocrinologist and suggested we support each other professionally, and he said yes, because collaboration with others health professionals builds credibility for your clients, for my clients, in Petralana in Athens. Reflexology becomes stronger when it is not as isolated, but positioned as a complementary approach that can work hand in hand with conventional medicine. This is a dream for me. In the same way, I reached out to my Pilates instructor, my pharmacist, and my physiotherapist. These connections reinforced a local network of wellness professionals who now see reflexology as part of the same mission, helping people live healthier, more balanced lives. I was lucky as well because one of my clients who works for a large company recommended me to offer a paid self-therapy seminar using MCR for the employees in her department during a corporate wellness event, I think called Happy Friday or something like this. This was a beautiful example of how reflexology can enter the workplace employees not only felt cared for, but also learned practical tools to release stress and increase productivity. Once again, it worked. But beyond these examples, there is a greater truth. Reflexology works because we love what we do. We believe in it, and it is genuinely beneficial. When passion and authenticity meets usefulness, people respond. Today, more and more scientific studies are beginning to show what we as practitioners have long known. Reflexology has measurable effects on stress reduction, pain management, circulation, hormonal balance, and overall well-being. These emerging results are not just data, they are bridges to a future where reflexology is recognized as a vital part of healthcare and wellness, or well-being, as we said before. So, imagine a future where reflexology is as natural as drinking water when you are thirsty, or going for a walk when you need fresh air. A future where every home, every workplace, every school has access to simple reflexology tools for stress relief, self-care and prevention. The success of the promotional efforts proves one thing. People are ready. They are searching for holistic, effective and empowering solutions. And our role is to continue sharing, teaching, researching, and demonstrating the impact of reflexology until it becomes not just an alternative or a complementary, but a natural part of daily living. So, my message to you, fellow therapists and reflexologists, is simply, and I will borrow the words of the distinguished Greek psychiatrist and psychoanalyst, Sthopoulos. The body is made of sky, the soul is born from the body. This single sentence carries a whole philosophy, that we're not minds trapped in flesh, nor bodies dragging behind thought. We are a continuous field of meaning, emotional, sensory, cellular, sacred. What touches the body touches the soul, and what the soul cannot say, the body finds a way to express. This is why our work matters. If we want reflexology to become mainstream, not just in Greece, but worldwide, we must speak from the heart. Tell people who you are, tell them reflexology helps. Tell them to try, just for once, even for free. Offer your services with love, humility, and care. To close, I want to share the beautiful words of Saint Gabriela, a Greek Orthodox nun who devoted her life to service and healing. When the hand touches with love, it transmits grace, not its own. It is the grace of God flowing through love. Touch becomes a prayer. Saint Gabriela herself was a physiotherapist and helped others not only physically but also spiritually. She taught that when you touch someone with love, you are touching Christ himself or the source or whatever everybody believes. So I'm here among you today, deeply grateful and full of pride. I know you are exceptional therapists, wise teachers, and generous human beings. You chose this path to serve others. My personal belief is that in our work, beyond the techniques and knowledge, what matters most is the warmth in our touch, the connection from our heart, and our supportive, non-judgmental presence. We are simply here to help people heal themselves. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Aikaterina. What a wonderful message there at the end, one I'm sure we'll all agree with, and some fascinating findings as well on a subject that touches all of us, the idea of stress and anxiety. Certainly, I don't think there's one patient or client out there that won't come to us in one way or another without some form of that. Thank you very much again, Katerina.
Thank you.
Okay, so we are now at the lunchtime stage. Mary, do we want to do a raffle draw during the lunchtime break towards the end? Is that the best thing to do?
Let's do it just when we're done.
Just when we're done, okay. Okay, so same as we did yesterday, we're over in the Garden Restaurant for lunch. Back here for 1:30, please, for Mr. Spiros.
Φέρε και την Κυπριακή σημαία. Θες να φέρω και την Αλική. Ναι. Φέρε και την Κυπριακή τότε. Έρχεται η Κυπριακή.